Hello everyone, I'm Filip and I'm the CEO at WordWare. I've been playing in the space of LLMs for the last 7 years, starting with BERT, following kind of research at Cambridge. And right now that GPT came around, we've kind of current use of LLMs is chatbots, summarization, content generation, and knowledge retrieval. And as the person that was speaking before me said, we are entering the era of agents. And I actually have a very simple definition of what an agent is. And everyone is saying, oh, agent is such a concept that we don't know what it is. In my example, actually, it's extremely simple. So currently, the non-agentic workflows, so kind of zero shot, is as if I would put you guys in front of a computer, put a gun to your face, and say, you now got to write an essay, and you cannot plan it, you cannot use any tools, you cannot reflect on what you write, so you cannot use backspace, and you cannot talk to people who are smarter than you. And you have to start typing at the same cadence right now. This is exactly how currently LLMs work. And it's pretty incredible, actually, that they do such a good job. But we need to move one step forward. So an agentic workflow means that you outline how you're going to write it. You can do web research. You can write first draft. You can then correct it. You can ask people who are smarter than you about how to make it even better. So very simple ways. There's 4 components to agents: planning, reflection, tool use, and multi-agent collaboration. And now, how do we actually build these agents? So we at WordWare believe that right now we can only do handcrafted agents. We are at a stage where handcrafted agents, where you code all of these steps in a specific manner, you have a standard operating procedure, work extremely well. Then we are starting right now to move to specialized agents. We got a couple companies which are creating something that you don't really know where the AI is going to go, but you give it a specific task. And then we have general agents like AutoGPT or React that can do anything. Nobody has put one of these into production. And now the main question, when you start building, you go to LangChain or you try to do a vanilla implementation of OpenAI. The main problem that we have currently is iteration speed is extremely slow, and the people who should be part of the iteration cycle are not able to read code. And in my opinion, that's why CodeGen has moved so far, because engineers are the people who look at it and they can judge the outputs of it. At WordWare, we approach it completely differently. We believe that prompts don't belong in the code base. I think it's actually quite ridiculous that in LangChain you have to move from prompts to code to natural language to LLM, which outputs natural language, which then you structurize it and you show it as natural language after the code again. And then the lawyers, the people who know exactly what to do, cannot start working on it. They cannot iterate. So we created, basically, in our opinion, the first IDE, which is focused only on AI agent building. And we've created a new coding language, which is mostly based on English. And now I'm going to try to show the power of it, because we'll try to go through a lot of examples. So kind of bear with me, all right? So first of all, as in any programming language, we're going to start with a hello world. So this is our IDE. This is where you build all of your AI agents. So I'm going to say hello world, as in any new language. And we're going to say hi to @name. @name now created a variable. So we're starting to see there are some still similarities to coding, but the main programming language is English. We can now do a slash, and we enter a bunch of different options. By design, this is quite similar to Notion. So we're going to create a new generation, and we're going to call it greeting, and then we're going to choose from a multitude of different models, including the 405B, which we always add the newest models, so you don't have to go through all the hassle. So we're going to try to use Llama 70B in Grok mode. Actually, we probably don't need such a fast model, so we're just going to go 4.0. And from here, we kind of enter the magic of WordWare. Chaining prompts is extremely simple, and we've already seen that kind of separating what to give to an LLM yields superior results. So now we're going to say, make it polite. We're going to do another generation. So there's a bunch of shortcuts. This is a power tool for creating agents. So now I'm using a curly bracket to say polite, and that creates a polite greeting. And then from here, we can, for example, say, write a story about this person. And we're going to say story. And because that's quite I'm going to say, create a long story about this person. So story here, actually, because it will be quite a lot of text, we're going to use Grok. We're actually very fond of Grok. Grok is a kind of a new infrastructure on how to run LLMs very, very fast. And they were essentially very lucky in the fact that they designed 7 years ago the exact right architecture for LLMs. All right, so now we get to do a couple things. This right now is a runnable prompt, so I can just go Filip, and this will show me exactly what is happening. So when I said, we got a very long story, okay. When somebody asked a question in the audience about observability, we actually think that right now, observability and ability to quickly iterate is one of the most important things. We have learned that with software, that the quicker you can do iterations, the better the software is going to be. I think right now, LLMs are being treated as either it works or doesn't work. And people don't spend enough time on iterating. And the really important part is that you see where it went wrong. That's why here, anyone can see exactly the outputs of the LLM. You can then access your runs. And if you're dealing with somebody who is not technical, you can deploy a new application. Let's just deploy it here. I'm going to generate an image automatically. That takes a second. One sec. Will it be quick or not quick? Okay, I'm going to publish it without it. And we have a deployed application right now, which is basically available for anyone who, even if they don't want to enter the editor, when you have a legal use case, a lawyer is writing a contract and they are the technical person. They can actually write out the whole flow, and they can then share it inside of their legal firm to say, hey, use this. This is an internal tool. I've used all of the best practices of our law firm in order to get this done. So if I write it here, it's very simple. I'm going to run this app. It's extremely simple. It's producing the same result. This is immediately also accessible as an API. So we have people who build these kind of LLM backend on us, and then can deploy it. They can deploy it as an API, and they can use it inside of their product. And in a way, what we are trying to achieve is this community of people who are writing LLM backends, share it in a GitHub-like style. Anyone can reuse it, and we become the main tool, the main IDE for all of the LLM backends and all of the cool applications. So speaking of cool applications, we of course have a lot of enterprise customers, and we spoke about all of this knowledge retrieval. But today I'm just going to focus on fun uses of this application. So from here, the first thing that I wanted to do is I'm going to live code a research topic and create an engaging story. So I fall asleep to audiobooks, and sometimes I have this one book by Dostoevsky. Some people might love it, but it just makes me fall asleep really quickly. But sometimes I want to learn before I fall asleep. So this is something that I wanted to do. So I'm going to say, Your job is to put me to sleep through a boring story about about a topic. So we created a variable. Firstly, plan out a storyline which is factual about the topic. And you know what? Before this, we should research the topic so we make sure that it's not hallucinating. I'm going to use another generation. So we've got a bunch of different options here. So we will use a generation which uses Solar Large, which is an online-enabled model by Perplexity, and it's actually amazing. Everyone should be using it. So we'll research the topic. Firstly, plan out a storyline which is factual about the topic. We're going to do a plan, which is factual and engaging about the topic. I normally, for most things, use Claude 3.5 Sonnet. And then we're gonna generate the actual story. It should be long because it normally takes me minutes to fall asleep. And then from here, we're gonna do the whole story. And we're gonna now use more functionality of WordWare. So these are only chains right now. So chains are perfect. But what about all of the other aspects of the agent? We go to the / command. And then from here, you've got structure generations. You can ask a human to basically stop the flow of any chain of thought and correct it in a deployed application. We see that used quite often. Even if you design this perfect flow, sometimes it goes off rails and you need to put it back into its place. We can do loops. We can do code execution, so you can write any integration you want. You can connect to any database. We have also, of course, conditional statements and kind of prompts. And prompts is basically something that calls different functions. So because I wrote this in the wrong place, I'm gonna copy all of this and go back to the place I should have wrote it in and create a new prompt and paste all of that stuff here. And we just got research, and we add the real stuff, topic. Everything else should work at minutes. Perfect. And then from here, we're going to use a tool. We've got a bunch of different tools like web search, web scrape, creating images. But we are going to use just something which is a little bit simpler, which is 11 labs. So the content will be the whole story. And then from here, we're going to add the output of this function. So you can start seeing that we're getting closer to real programming. So topic is going to be tongue battles during World War II. I don't know if you guys do this, but I fall asleep to documentaries about World War II. So we have research happening, I should have probably said that it should have used just one of these, but we're gonna continue. So this will run in the background, and I'll start taking you through new stuff. So the next thing, and I'm gonna kind of rush through these. So the next thing is creating a personal website. So I don't know if you guys ever created a personal website for yourself, but you're gonna be able to in a second. So we do research, we use different models, we use quotes, etc. And then we write a poem about the person, we read it out loud using 11 Lab speech synthesis, and then we create a website. And this is something that actually came from our community, and this is exactly how we imagine it. We imagine people creating some things that we didn't know are possible, because we always got annoyed with no-code tools and about the ceiling of it. And we actually have no ceiling, at least we haven't found something that cannot be done inside of our software. Then this is actually hosted on our server, which we didn't know is possible. And I'm gonna run this for myself. Filip Kozera, founder at WordWare. And we're going to run this. So the next, what I would like you to do is I'm going to deploy this application, and I'm going to publish it. And I have a published version that I copied the link. And now I created something which just reuses a bunch of this stuff, and it generates a QR code. So I will run this as well. And here I will input the URL for the application I just created. So this is right now writing code, which is HTML, which is gonna essentially create a QR code about a hosted version of this personal website. So all of you in a second will get an ability to scan this code, and so take out your phones, guys. Hopefully this works, and you will be able to see what AI knows about you. So we got this big QR code. I'm gonna zoom in on this. I have no clue if it will actually work because, well, AI did it, right? It wrote all the code. And after it, you should, oh, sorry, go for it. Okay, so does everyone have it already? Cool, all right. So next, let me just make sure that I'm on, yeah. Next, I'm gonna show you mine. It's a little bit embarrassing, but we'll see if, oh, not the right one, not the right one. I think it's this one. Okay, it's still writing actual my personal website. So you can start typing in your name and see how basically it does. It will take a couple minutes. So I'll let you do that. And in the meantime, hopefully this will, in a second finish it. So type in your names, type in as much detail as you can, because these models will try to find you, especially if you have a generic name. Okay, so moving forward, when I was sitting in the, okay, we got this. Okay, it gives me an online presence. It's basically researched all of my links. It tells me that I worked really hard, which is fun. This is how AI envisions me, apparently. And we've got a poem as well.
In the heart of tech, where ideas glow bright, stands Filip Kozera, a beacon of light.
You know, like, the cringe is pretty bad for me. So.
Vast as seas.
All right, that's enough. But you'll get a personal website in a second. And let me move on. When I was sitting in the crowd, I noticed the LangChain deployment of this Alpha Vantage trying to find the price of NVIDIA and how ridiculously complex it was for me. So I just basically said, write a code to check the price of NVIDIA, act as an expert JavaScript programmer. I then said to Claude, hey, write it. Claude sometimes says, here's your code. So I wrote a quick function which strips the code, and then I hosted all of the code and ran it. So the price, I'm trying to check the NVIDIA price. My agent wrote some code and it got the price. So that's how quick that was. And then we got the next one, which this is a really fun one actually. But I wanted to say something about this one as well. Oh, so kind of a more practical use case of this that we are in production with a company is they have a bunch of different, they are a tracking company, and they have a bunch of different databases, which, you know, you can call into these databases for an endpoint. And then they specified in the prompt, I can't show you this unfortunately, the structure of what you expect as the output of these functions. And they have very complex questions from their users who ask, like, how many times was I overcharged by the 400 different tracking people that move freight for me? And this agent writes all the code, crunches all the numbers, and in 45 seconds outputs a beautiful report. So this is an actual use case of all this fun stuff that we're talking about. And one of the last parts is a basic React agent where it's supposed to essentially think. So writing this particular agent in other softwares is extremely difficult. We are dealing with something which is quite general here. All of the stuff that you see here is part of a prompt. So this is how we start to realize that coding now becomes prompting. And People say, oh, but it's just a prompt, it's just a prompt. No, this is going to be the future of how we talk to these monsters that are LLMs, that are just wearing human puppets because of reinforcement learning through human feedback. And we need to learn how to chat with these monsters, and this is what AI engineers and prompt engineers are going to be really good at. So we give this AI agent some tools. We give it a format of how to think. We tell this monster, hey, this is what logic looks like. This is how you should think. We then run a loop, which basically does the reflection. It always tries to figure out what it's done wrong. And we use a structured generation to include thought, action, and input. Structured generations, by the way, are underused, and I'm really annoyed about each client who comes to us and says, you should oh, I don't know what structure is, so I shouldn't use it. Then we use the tool selection, and I actually created a question about what is the NVIDIA stock price today, and I also said find also the highest price in the last 15 days, which you might recognize this one. And we can see it's finding that it needs to firstly do Google search. It then realizes that it needs to use AlphaVantage API. This agent now writes its own code. It's run its own code and gets the exact answer, 136.15. So again, this is a QR code where you can try all of these things. 1 second, that's not the right QR code because I wanted to share something more fun as well. No. The really fun thing that I wanted to share is, wait. Is that the one? QR code, copy. Okay. So the next one we're going to do is a Lego, turning yourself into a Lego fixture. We are by default multimodal. You can put audio, you can put images, you can do whatever you want. As long as you can see it, it can be fed into LLM. We're now using these kind of sub-prompts like describe images, write image prompts, checking image prompts, and generating stable diffusion free. And we can run it with a photo of you guys sitting here. So I took this photo, and what it outputted, this takes around 30 seconds. Let's see what it came out with. But this is the Lego version of all of you guys. So the really fun part about this is I get to deploy it again. I get to publish this up. I get to take the URL. I get to run this one. I get to put it here. I get the I get one of the models to write the whole code, and then we'll finish with the code of each one of you being able to take a picture of yourself and turn yourself into a Lego figure. And lastly, I have created this page for you guys. WordWare, we have an exclusive promo code for everyone. You can start for free. Please build all of the agents you want, but there is an also 50% discount on WordWare for AI, it's called AI users. So, okay. And lastly, this is, you like sufficient credits, please purchase more credits. Oh, that's a little bit annoying. But I'll show you one more. I was swimming on, no, you don't know the original. Never mind. Okay, I'm at time. We built quite a lot, I hope. Yeah, that's basically us. That's WordWare. So there's a couple different options. So when you go to WordWare, we are quite opinionated about what to use. So when you create a new project, you got Exa search, you get Google search, you get to do RAG with TrufflePig, actually very good provider of like vector databases, Wikipedia, u.com, and also those are the tools that are readily available in WordWare, but a lot of our clients actually write their own JavaScript code and query their own databases. And additionally, there's two models which are online enabled, Command R plus online by Cohere and Sonar Large by Perplexity. Sonar Large is better, so I would recommend using that. And you can even ask for sources. So mixture of these things and actually having the domain expert being the front chair. A bunch of our clients are actually researching topics that they know about and putting the right flow, but then asking the domain expert to like check whether it's working and tweak it is the really important part. PDF file, actually, we are, again, quite opinionated. RAG with TrufflePig, you input a URL with a PDF, and it automatically puts it in a vector database. But also, I would recommend using vision models for shorter PDF documents because they output better stuff and they transcribe it, and as long as the context window, the content is in the context window, you can deal with it. So RAG is not only about vector databases. It's another thing that I get annoyed about. It's actually vector databases are not that good. So our editor is a WYSIWYG editor. So it's what you see is what you get. When I'm running, for example, this research topic and create an engaging story, I immediately see what is each model doing. So right now, our evals, we do hook into other evaluation tools, but at the same time, we believe that LLMs are so early that most people don't have ground truth. How the heck am I supposed to know what's a good story for me to fall asleep, you know? So we say vibes plus a lot of iterations plus seeing the whole trace of how it's thinking is the solution for higher quality agents. That's prompt engineering. You can get really far with prompt engineering and with kind of specifying the model into that particular way. I actually think most of the time it's like if you do really good prompt engineering, it's better. Like it's often as good as fine-tuning. And yeah, so essentially prompt engineering, 2 weeks of iteration. That's kind of the answer. No, because it's a lot of work for us, so we just give it for free. Yeah, and we also a YC company, so these people give us like ridiculous amounts of credits. Like my DeepGrow account, I got $500,000. I'm like, what the? How do these people make money? So, long story short, we give everything for free for now.